Right now on AMHQ early from the Gulf Coast to the Ohio Valley. Dangerous storms are set to unleash. This morning we've got torcons of 4. Welcome Wilbur to the mix. Yes, another winter storm tracking across the northern tier of the U.S. and it could leave several cities whacked with a fresh foot of snow. And a blast of winter in more ways than one in the Big Apple on Monday. The shocking explosion and the reason why. Right now on AMHQ Early. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to AMHQ Early. I'm meteorologist Kelly Cass. Well, it is April and we're running out of names for winter storms. We're up to W, Wilbur. That's tracking across the northern tier of the country. And today, millions also stand in the path of some dangerous thunderstorms. So from the Gulf Coast and places like Houston all the way up into the Midwest, where we had been tracking some snow, now it's heavy rain, lightning, and even the threat for some strong and severe thunderstorms. Memphis, Nashville, we've got torcons of 3 for you guys today. The tornado threat is even higher across parts of the Ohio Valley. So yeah, this is a serious situation, and unfortunately some of these storms will carry us over through the nighttime hours, which of course is a very dangerous time to get thunderstorms that could catch you off guard. So make sure you've got a way to get those warnings before you go to bed tonight. For now, we do not have any watches or warnings. That is the good news. I'll start with that. But the bad news is we are seeing plenty of lightning, kind of a rude awakening to go along with your alarm clocks here in Indianapolis, where it is coming down out there over towards Cincinnati, kind of surrounded by the heavy rain and lightning as well. Chicago not bothering you, but all the thunderstorms affecting us in central Illinois, where just the other day we picked up nearly a foot of snowfall. Now we have gone in the other direction. Here's a look at our future radar. Okay, so the yellows, oranges, and reds on this, that's where we got the heaviest rain and the thunderstorm activity. It's going to be pounding parts of the Ohio Valley up into parts of the Northeast as well. So Cleveland, Pittsburgh, this time yesterday morning, they were de-icing at the airport with the cold air. Now we're in the warm sector, and that means showers and thunderstorms right through about 10 o'clock tonight. As you're trying to get your kids to go to sleep tonight, it might be a little rough out there with all that thunder booming down towards Paducah, Louisville, Memphis, all these areas could see some severe weather out there today. So where are we likely to see severe thunderstorms? It's going to be right here in that darker shade of red. So Cincinnati, Louisville, Evansville, Indiana, you're in the middle of that as well. And very close to Nashville, Memphis, we've got you in it, eastern parts of Arkansas. This is an area where we're likely to see some of those ingredients kind of lining up to give us a better chance for the severe weather. So a torcon of a 4 for much of Indiana, that's a 40% chance that we could see tornadoes spin up in this area. 3 for southern Illinois, western Kentucky, and also 3 for parts of Tennessee. So that's a 30% chance that we could see tornadoes develop. Remember, strong winds can also do a lot of damage, harm, and injury as well. We do have the threat of that, as well as some hail. Storm Prediction Center giving it a medium chance right along with that darker shade of red where we saw the chance for severe weather. And of course, we're also watching out for straight line winds better than 60 miles per hour. Well, from spring storms to a late winter storm during this spring season, Winter Storm Wilbur slamming the northern plains and eventually the Great Lakes with snow. Here's a live look at St. Paul, Minnesota, courtesy of EarthCam. Twin Cities under a winter weather advisory right through tomorrow night. And we do have the snow coming down right now. Sometimes the de-icing can cause some slowdowns at the airport, so definitely check ahead if you are traveling through MSP. Here a look at the advisories, the darker shade of blue. That's where we do have the winter storm warnings in effect for much of Wisconsin, also the northern parts of lower Michigan. That means we have the potential to see at least 6 inches of snowfall, and some of you might actually get closer to a foot of new snow, courtesy of Winter Storm Wilbur. All right, so here's the snow happening around the Black Hills of western South Dakota. I've been seeing reports of anywhere from 2 to 5 inches on the ground so far there. Darker shades of blue, that's moving toward the southern side of Minneapolis as well, and also here into the eastern parts of South Dakota. So that's your heavier snow, reducing visibility at times. We've also got some pretty windy conditions to go along with that snow, and we do have gale warnings in effect for the Great Lakes region. We also have wind advisories in effect for some of you as well. So where you have that cold enough air to the north, that is where we're tracking our wintry precipitation. To the south, of course, it's all rain and thunderstorm activity, as you know very well in Indianapolis, hearing that thunder right now. So here's a look at the snowfall associated with our newest winter storm. You can see the darker shades of blue. Right over Minneapolis, 3 to 5 inches there. Lighter shades of purple, we're talking about 5 to 8 inches. And remember, this is on top of what you may have already picked up, because for some of you, the snow has already begun. Well, before Wilbur even showed up, we had a narrow, fast-moving system that made a wintry dash into the Northeast. That snow closed or delayed more than 100 schools in Connecticut Monday. New Jersey State Police tweeted that troopers worked 53 crashes in the snow. Well, Winter Storm Wilbur should miss the big cities on the eastern seaboard this week. New this morning, people across the Northeast are ready for winter to just pack its bags and go away. It looks and sounds an awful lot like January.
This is the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen, and I still have to drive all the way to New Jersey, so what a great morning.
Welcome to April in New York City.
Can you believe we're going through this again?
No. April? No way.
5.5 inches of snow spread across Manhattan Monday. New York City's snowiest April day in 36 years.
It's springtime supposedly, but it looks more like winter. Are you over all of the snow that we've had?
I am so over it. I am ready for spring.
The flakes were heavy, wet, and slushy. Some drivers refused to be bothered. They learned the hard way.
They're speeding, and they should be more careful, because every time there was a snowstorm and I'm driving back, there's a major accident. So people are definitely not taking their time.
New York suburbs racked up impressive totals for April. Many collected between 4 and 8 inches.
I'm pretty done for the frozen hellscape of winter to end, so.
The blast of winter forced the New York Yankees to call off their home opener. The game now rescheduled for this afternoon. The spring storm made commuters wet and late and forced alternative transportation.
I'm not a winter person, and I like to see some sunshine.
Snow fatigue, it seems, even has pets a bit cranky. That translates into just get rid of the snow, please. We're ready for spring. All right, let's take a quick look at the radar first of all, and there's the snowfall that we saw for New York City. The total ended up being 5.5 inches of snow, not quite cracking the snowiest April days on record, but still, as I mentioned earlier, the snowiest April day in some 36 years. All right, we've got a live look at Atlantic City, New Jersey. I know it's spring break season for a lot of kids, but if you're headed out to the Jersey Shore, it's not quite time for the bathing suits quite yet. Definitely bring the jackets, the umbrellas, that will come in handy as well. We've got a chilly 31 degrees this morning, and even a few showers and thunderstorms are possible later on today. But at least no more snow, at least not right now. Here's a look at the radar. You can see the thunderstorm activity now pushing into the panhandle of West Virginia. Also in western Pennsylvania. Hard to believe this time yesterday we were tracking all that snow. So temperatures are warming, and we do have an east wind still keeping us a little on the cool side over here in New England. 32 degrees in Boston. You got 39 in New York City, 33 in Buffalo. Winds are fairly light. That is the good news, but we do expect those winds to really increase as we go through tomorrow, especially where we could even see some lakeshore flooding with those strong winds off of Lake Ontario. So you can see the temperatures today reach into the 40s. Later on tonight, we're not falling below freezing, so good news there. 42 degrees in New York City, 36 in Boston, and 53 degrees for Washington, D.C. Well, from the Northeast now to parts of the Midwest, we take you into Chicago, where winter has been hanging on here for sure. It's a rainy start, though, to your Tuesday in the Windy City, and as that cold rain moves in, we will see it end as snow as those temperatures will be dropping, and don't expect it to warm up really anytime soon. It looks like it's going to stay below average, at least for the northern tier of the country. In the south, we've been holding on to the warmth. In fact, Atlanta finally getting to 80 degrees. It's been a long time since we've done that. But, you know, we even here in the south, parts of the mid-south anyway, we will start to feel some of that cooler air, at least going back to average for so many. But downright cold when you make your way up toward the Great Lakes region, the Northeast as well. That's where the coldest air will be, and that's where we have to focus on the wintry precipitation as we get these disturbances moving into the area. So for Fargo, North Dakota, with a forecast high of only 20 degrees, that's more like the middle of January when you look at the averages. Marquette, Michigan, getting up to 25 degrees, not even freezing, so that's more like late February. In Des Moines, mid-30s, that's also more like the mid to latter part of February. Definitely doesn't feel like the beginning of April. 5 to 15 degrees below average for all these areas that we have circles on the map in the upper Midwest. All right, you thinking about the weekend already? Got to make those plans. Of course, the Masters tournament, that's going to be starting up in the next couple of days in Augusta, Georgia as well. So a lot of people will be traveling over here to eastern Georgia. Weather looks great, actually, across the southeastern coast. We are going to be tracking that severe weather threat, though, from the Ohio Valley stretching all the way down into the eastern parts of Texas. So for spring breakers, know what county you're in, know where to go in case severe weather should strike. And we do have the threat of tornadoes as well for some of you. Severe threat moved toward the Carolina coastline for Wednesday. Thursday looks fantastic. Really nice here. Of course, Augusta looking great. Temperatures cooling down to average. We're going to be in the mid-60s. We watch our next system move across the southern tier for Friday. A lot of rain with this one, but look at this. A little purple, a little blue showing up on the northern edges of that too. So yes, temperatures could be cold enough for a little bit of white stuff, the snow, and then our next system moving across the middle of the country as we head towards Sunday. Well, road salt and melting snow get the blame for 2 underground explosions in New York City. Security cameras were rolling when one blast sent a 100-pound manhole cover flying. It nearly hit 2 people that were walking past. Moments later, a second explosion shot another manhole cover into the air.
When you thought everything was okay, it just suddenly exploded. Like the fire was really big, you know.
Well, officials say road salt just eats away at the rubber coating on the electrical wires, and it's the melting snow that actually carries that salt below the ground. Well, the manhole explosions are simple chemical reactions, the kind of stuff you may have learned in high school chemistry lab. But if you've forgotten, no worries. Our Stephanie Abrams has a refresher.
We're all familiar with the plow trucks that come by and they push away all the snow as it's falling. But what you might not see is the de-icing elements that they spray after to help with the melting. Now, they use different de-icers depending on the air temperature. Above 20 degrees, simple rock salt works. It's perfectly fine. It's the same thing as your table salt. Now, when the temperature drops below 20 to about 0 degrees, that's when we use magnesium chloride, which is also a form of salt. But it's actually primarily produced in the Great Salt Lake. That's an interesting fact for you. Then when you get even colder than that, we go to calcium chloride, yet another form of salt that works down to negative 25 degrees. So what is the difference when we go from rock salt to calcium chloride? Well, what it does is it actually lowers the freezing point, making it harder for ice to form. Whoa, what just happened there? Looks like a manhole cover exploded. Now, you've probably seen video of this happening before. So what exactly is going on? So we have all the salt now that has been spread on the street. That, of course, seeps down into the sewer system. What is underneath that manhole cover? Well, we actually have all sorts of cables and gases. So first off, you have the salt that's eroding away at the insulation. Then you have all this gas down in our sewers. You have methane, you have hydrogen, think Hindenburg, and hydrogen sulfide. So once you have that salt that's eroded away at the insulation, you have live wires. Of course, that's heat. You get a spark mixing with the gas, and boom, you have an explosive environment. But let me stand back here, because those manhole covers, they can blast 50 feet into the air, and they can weigh anywhere from 100 to 300 pounds. So if you see one smoking, you obviously want to stay away. New York City estimates that they have more than 2,000 of these manhole incidents a year.
Wow. I'm surprised more people aren't hurt by that. Well, let's take a look at what's happening on social this morning. We love it when you send us the pictures of the weather happening where you are. Show us how amazing it is. Here's a welcome sight around the tidal basin in the nation's capital. Yes, the cherry blossoms looking gorgeous. Matt McKinney, thank you so much for sending this to us on Twitter. By the way, the cherry blossoms will be reaching peak bloom by the weekend. Well, thanks so much for sharing the images. Keep them coming. You can tag us at AMHQ on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. A lot more to come on AMHQ Early, with nearly 48 million people looking at the threat for severe weather. Knowing where to go could make the difference between life and death. We're going to show you where you should seek safety when at home.
This is the ocean. Oh, let's swim together in the water, clear and clean. It makes us feel better. Just listen. It doesn't care where we've been. There's so much we want to show her. We needed a car that would last long enough to see it all.
Subaru Outback. 98% are still on the road after 10 years.
Hands go here. Feet go here. You know what goes here. And your approval rating goes here. Test drive the Z-Track Z540R at your John Deere dealer today. If this is how your underwear situates your stuff. Get bullpen underwear with Stay Put pouch. Only at Duluth stores and DuluthTrading.com.
Well, it finally happened, Zachary. Somebody burned down my she shed.
Nobody burned down your she shed, Cheryl.
Well, my she shed's on fire.
Your she shed was struck by lightning.
Zachary, is my she shed covered by State Farm?
Your she shed's covered, Cheryl.
You hear that, Victor? I'm getting a new she shed.
She shear?
Mm-hmm.
That's wonderful news.
Go with the one that's here to help life go right. State Farm.
More and more people have discovered something strong, dependable, long-lasting. They've found themselves in a Chevy truck. And now you can too. See for yourself why Chevrolet is the most awarded and fastest growing brand the last 4 years overall. Switch into a new Chevy now. Current competitive owners can get $3,000 total cash allowance on most Colorado pickups. Find new roads at your local Chevy dealer.
If you've ever considered getting a walk-in tub, we have great news.
No more cold seats. For a limited time, when you purchase a Safe Step walk-in tub, we'll upgrade your order to include our newest feature, a heated seat.
That's a $600 value, free.
But that's not all. The new and improved dual hydrotherapy system now has foot massaging jets to help soothe aching feet.
And as always, Safe Step walk-in tubs are built to maximize safety so you can stay in your home and enjoy the comforts of bathing again.
Call the number on your screen now for more information and a free, no-obligation consultation.
Our new walk-in tub is affordable and could change your life.
Thousands of people just like you are already enjoying the safety and luxury comfort of their Safe Step walk-in tub. Financing is available. So call 1-800-373-4046. That's 1-800-373-4046. You deserve it. Call and get yours today.
It is a very brutal place to work. Anything can happen.
All new Highway Through Hell, Sunday nights at 8 on the Weather Channel.
Stay tuned for your local on the 8s, brought to you by Prevagen, the name to remember.
I love my grandma.
As you grow older, your brain naturally begins to change, which may cause trouble with recall.
Learning from him is great when I can keep up.
Thankfully, Prevagen helps your brain and improves memory.
Dad's got all the answers.
Prevagen is now the #1 selling brain health supplement in drugstores nationwide.
She outsmarts me every single time.
Checkmate. You want to play again?
Prevagen, healthier brain, better life.
Currently in our area, 36 degrees under cloudy skies. Tuesday, windy with morning showers. Thunder possible. High 45. Chance of rain 50%. Tuesday night, a mostly clear sky. Low 21. Winds north-northwest at 20 to 30 miles per hour. Wednesday, partly cloudy. High 52. Northwest winds shifting to south-southeast at 10 to 15 miles per hour. Here's our 7-day outlook.
Well, this is one way to add a little excitement to a long, dull airplane ride. A stowaway makes a scene on a long flight from Southeast Asia to the Arabian Peninsula. Flight attendants tried to catch that bird. You can see it right there flying through the cabin. Nobody had any luck until the plane did land. But yeah, somebody said, oh, I'm getting this on video. This is not something you see every day, that is for sure. All right, it is coming up on 20 past the hour. So here on AMHQ, it is time to check your travel conditions. We begin with the plane. We bring that in. It's early in the day, so far so good, although we do think weather will have a role in some delays and possible cancellations and ground stops. Severe threat on the map here in the red. Of course, we've got the blue showing up. That is your snow that's coming down in the Twin Cities, and sometimes de-icing and snow removal can lead to some delays. So for New York City, it's going to be a few rain showers, so possible delays, not like we saw this time yesterday, though, with the snow coming down. Detroit, it's thunderstorms, snow for Minneapolis, thunderstorms for St. Louis, so a few delays are possible there. Well, of course, we're dealing with the wet roads primarily across the Ohio Valley this morning. Heavy downpours in some parts of Ohio. We're taking a look at I-71 on the left-hand side of your screen in the Queen City of Cincinnati, 47 degrees, and we've got the clouds shrouding the skyline here in Cleveland, and that is where we're expecting rain, not snow. You can see the rain and the lightning showing up here across Ohio, right there along I-70. It is booming out there in Indianapolis. Very heavy rain to go along with that lightning. Nothing severe, at least not right now, no warnings, but that of course could change as we go through the next several hours. Here's a look at our future radar. You can see how that plays out. It is just going to be a soggy go along I-70 throughout the day today. Well, 'tis the season, of course, for dangerous storms to pop up. So if a tornado were to touch down near you, would you know where to go? Meteorologist Mark Elliott shows us the safest place to be during a tornado.
When you're under a tornado warning or you hear a tornado siren, and especially if you can see that tornado, now is not the time to grab that smartphone and start filming. Instead, it's time to get inside and seek shelter. You run inside to seek shelter from the storm and come up to your bedroom, which normally is pretty safe, until of course a tree crashes through your roof. Coming down to a lower level, great idea. Trying to see where the storm is outside those windows, bad idea. It was a good idea to leave the windows, but this exterior wall doesn't help you as much as you might think. No, tree limbs or 2x4s, they're like toothpicks when winds get as fierce as in these storms. Yes, your garage is on ground level and has 4 sides. No, it isn't going to protect you the way you want it to. So this is where you do want to be. Not only a low level, but the lowest level you've got. And you want to put as many walls between you and the storm as possible. And then you stay here until it's safe. Because this room could be the one thing that saves your life.
Now, the National Weather Service recommends that you make that tornado safety plan, practice it with your family so that everyone knows where to go in case of a real threat. And we do have a threat today. You're taking a look at a torcon of a 4 for Cincinnati. That is a 40% chance that we could see tornadoes across this area, at least within 50 miles. And this is our tornado condition index. It's exclusive here on the Weather Channel. Your actual chance of getting tornadoes today, it's also a 4 for the city of Indianapolis, where just yesterday we were tracking snow. Now you are waking up to the sound of thunder, and then later today is when we're more concerned about the threat for severe weather, including the possibility of tornadoes. Now, even if you don't actually get a tornado, there could be some really strong damaging winds, better than 60 miles per hour, perhaps 70 miles per hour. So that's something we'll be watching out for as well. And we've also got the threat for hail that could be quarter-inch, 1-inch diameter, and that means a quarter size. So here's your thunderstorms affecting us from eastern Illinois through central Indiana and on into Ohio as well. Very heavy rain across this region. Windshield wipers having to go extra fast to keep up with this activity. Chicago, you're in pretty good shape right now. It's all well to the south of you, but you can see the cold front is west of you as well. So we can't rule out a few showers and storms popping up even here in the Windy City. But we do have one of those ingredients, and that would be the moisture content. And that's been rising through the Gulf of Mexico all the way up through the Ohio Valley. Of course, we do have the Cape, our highest available storm energy. That's going to be just ahead of our cold front down here into Texas and Arkansas and farther on up towards Illinois and Indiana. And once you get closer to the triple point where the low pressure, cold front and warm front come together, we do have the stronger winds and a little bit more wind shear involved. And that's why the torcons are around a 4 for that region. So here's a look at, of course, today, the best area for lift is right where we have it marked in that darker shade of red. This is where I told you about the torcons of 4 for Indianapolis and Cincinnati. Also watching places like Memphis and down towards eastern Arkansas as well for the threat of severe weather today. So just be on guard, know where to go. As Mark just said, as low as you can go, away from the windows. That's your best bet. And a torcon of a 3 as we make our way down to western Kentucky and also here into parts of Tennessee. We'll take a look at this beautiful sunrise. This is from Seabrook Island in South Carolina. The sunrise also featuring my favorite thing, and I love to point this out to my kids, the crepuscular rays, the rays of sunshine kind of beaming through the clouds. So gorgeous. So we're going to take a look at where you could see a nice sunrise out there this morning. Not where we've got the rain coming down, that is for sure. We know that, and that's right here across the Ohio Valley. So the blue on the map, not good for sunrise. The yellow, the orange, actually looking pretty good in the northeast, where of course we were dealing with the clouds and the snow yesterday. West Coast looking pretty good for your sunrise as well. Well, we continue to scroll down the Rolodex of winter storm names. We're up to W. So Wilbur, where it could jump a foot of snow before it's done. Plus,
we want to introduce you guys to another person, another member of the team.
Snow left a few Mets players a little salty. We got the story coming up next.
To Ted Kennedy in the White House in '72.
We're family. We share a lifetime bond.
What the hell happened last night?
It was an accident.
Court of public opinion will have your head on a stake.
We tell the truth, or at least our version of it.
A dead body holds a lot of secrets.
Are you saying that maybe she didn't drown?
I could have had her out of that car in 25 minutes if I got the call. But no one called. Sometimes the path you're on isn't always the path you choose.
What's stopping you from making that choice yourself?
I can't watch you do this, Ted. Do what, Joe? Self-destruct. Oh my God, what have I done?
Chappaquiddick, rated PG-13, in theaters Friday.
My gums are irritated. I don't have to worry about that. Do I?
Actually, you do. Harmful bacteria lurk just below the gum line, and if you're not taking care of your gums, you're not taking care of your mouth.
So now I use this, Crest Gum Detoxify.
Introducing new Crest Gum Detoxify. It works below the gum line and is clinically proven to neutralize harmful plaque bacteria and help reverse early gum damage. New Gum Detoxify from Crest.
Gums are good, so is my checkup.
Crest, healthy, beautiful smiles for life.
You made a promise. You agreed to never give up. To ask, what else can I do? You agreed to remember the good people who rise with every challenge. To remember their strength. To serve with grit and grace. You made a promise. We did too. The all-new Ram 1500.
Life happens everywhere. Like it never even happened, only happens here. The cleanup and restoration specialists at 1-800-SERVPRO and servpro.com.
Get the feeling of Chick-fil-A for breakfast.
For America's #1 walk-behind mower brand, look no further than your neighborhood Toro dealer. You'll find the best selection of Toro walk-behinds, zero turns, parts and accessories, and the #1 source for Toro innovations like the MyRide suspension platform, all backed by the personal service of your trusted local Toro dealer. Don't settle for anything less.
Toro, count on it. Count on us.
Find your local Toro dealer at toro.com/local.
Closed captioning brought to you by VSP Individual Vision Plans.
Grandma, look! Grandma, there's another one!
You can get coverage on your own through VSP Individual Vision Plans. See better for life for less.
Good Tuesday morning. Welcome back to AMHQ Early. I'm meteorologist Kelly Cass. Well, it may be springtime, but wintry weather lives on across the northern tier. In the northeast on Monday, snow led to downtime for many, and some people got creative with it.
So we're out here at Citi Field, me and the boys. We want to introduce you guys to another person, another member of the team. He's very salty and peppery, and he's got the shake. So we're out here at Citi Field, me and the boys.
Oh, I love it. A little snow didn't stop the New York Mets, at least the fans here, from having a little fun at Citi Field. Several of the players went out on the field and created their newest teammate, Salty the Snowman, after their game was postponed due to all the snow. They will make up that game against the Philadelphia Phillies on July 9th. I think they'll be okay July 9th. I don't think we have any snow in the forecast for that day. All right, now, of course, we do have Winter Storm Wilbur. Here's a live look at Gaylord, Michigan. Speaking of snowman, looks like we got one there. I don't think that one's real, though. Is that one real? Hard to tell from that picture. 25 degrees right now. On the right, hard to tell what that is. That is St. Paul, Minnesota, where the snow is coming down. We've got 30 degrees right now. EarthCam view showing very, very bad visibility. Some places could see up to a foot of new snow with Winter Storm Wilbur. Yeah, that's not a real snowman. All right, here's a look at all the advisories showing up in the blue, the darker shade of blue. That's where we actually have winter storm warnings, which means we're expecting at least 6 inches of snowfall. So in the lighter shade of blue, including Pier, on over to areas just north of Minneapolis, these are winter weather advisories, and also in northern lower Michigan, right there around Traverse City, we can actually do pretty well in the snowfall department as well. That's why it's a warning for you guys. So here's a look at the snow. This is a very similar track to what we saw over this past Easter weekend, especially on Saturday. We had the snow in the Twin Cities. It's snowing for us again. And then you get down into eastern Nebraska, a little bit of purple showing up here too in the northeastern part of the state. So perhaps a little sleet mixing in with that snow. We've also got some pretty strong winds blowing that snow around, at least in the Dakotas, and we're going to continue to see that cold air in place north of our low pressure system. South of there, that's where we have the warm sector and therefore the showers and thunderstorms. North of that low, though, we keep the cold air in place, and therefore the snow is going to be accumulating, especially in that area shaded in the lighter purple, 5 to 8 inches over toward the Dora Peninsula, including you guys in Green Bay, Wisconsin. So from Minneapolis, here's a look at our snowy forecast. Those skyways coming in handy for sure. Big snowflakes at times, and look at the winds too, 25 to as much as 30 miles per hour. Well, from a winter storm to the spring severe weather, a large part of the country facing a risk of severe storms today. Strong storms are possible from southeastern Texas all the way up to Ohio, where we could see some heavy rain, some lightning, damaging winds, and possibly even tornadoes. That can't be ruled out in this situation either. So unfortunately, some of these storms may be happening at night, overnight tonight, so make sure you have a way to get those warnings. For now, even though you see a lot of lightning showing up, we do not have any watches or warnings in effect right now. But still, when lightning is out there, you definitely want to be inside a sturdy shelter. It's all happening for us in the Circle City of Indianapolis, kind of just to the north of Cincinnati right now as well. But we're thinking this rain is going to have some staying power. If anything, hopefully that helps to kind of keep everything a little more stable. If the sun were to break out, we'd see more instability, but you can see the showers and thunderstorms lasting a good part of the day here into the afternoon and evening hours as well. Look at this line that wants to develop by about 9, 10 o'clock tonight. This looks more like a squall line setting up across Kentucky and Tennessee. That means perhaps some strong damaging winds to go along with that. So here's where we're likely to see severe storms in that darker shade of red, also possible in that lighter shade of red from the Gulf Coast all the way up, even into Detroit. We can have some strong thunderstorms out there today as well. These are the same areas that got snow just yesterday. Now we're tracking, of course, the hail, the heavy rain, 1 inch in diameter possible, and the strong winds are also possible to go along with that severe threat from the Ohio Valley down into parts of northern Mississippi and eastern Arkansas. All right, time to go coast to coast now. Here's a quick look at your Tuesday morning weather headlines. A fire weather watch is posted for the Texas Panhandle this morning. This grass fire east of Amarillo has scorched 6,500 acres. Crews say 10 buildings near the town of Claude are threatened. Winds are expected to blow today around 20 to 30 miles per hour. Zero position. A SpaceX rocket boosts a capsule loaded with supplies into orbit. It will dock at the International Space Station Wednesday. There's an experimental contraption on board, too, and once deployed, it will use a net to try to snag space junk. Well, the New York Yankees plan to play their home opener this afternoon after snow forced the postponement yesterday. However, and unfortunately, we do have a good chance of rain for New York this afternoon up there in the Bronx. We'll be tracking that for you. With another winter storm slamming the north, we could see more trouble out there on the roads. What you need to know about driving in the snow and icy conditions, plus a check of travel conditions across the country. That's coming up at 40 past. All right, New York City this time yesterday, it was coming down, snowing pretty hard. Right now, no snow.
If you have moderate to severe plaque psoriasis or psoriatic arthritis, little things can be a big deal. That's why there's Otezla. Otezla is not an injection or a cream. It's a pill that treats differently. For psoriasis, 75% clearer skin is achievable with reduced redness, thickness, and scaliness of plaques. And for psoriatic arthritis, Otezla is proven to reduce joint swelling, tenderness, and pain. And the Otezla prescribing information has no requirement for routine lab monitoring. Don't use if you're allergic to Otezla. Otezla may cause severe diarrhea, nausea, or vomiting. Tell your doctor if these occur. Otezla is associated with an increased risk of depression. Tell your doctor if you have a history of depression or suicidal thoughts or if these feelings develop. Some people taking Otezla reported weight loss. Your doctor should monitor your weight and may stop treatment. Other side effects include upper respiratory tract infection and headache. Tell your doctor about all the medicines you take and if you're pregnant or planning to be. Otezla, show more of you.
Here comes the rain. What's that girl? Joel needs help? Take me to her! Come and go! Why aren't we taking roads? Whoa!
Oh, you made it. Do you have change for $1?
This was the emergency? Yes, I was busy.
24-hour roadside assistance from America's #1 motorcycle insurer.
You know, I think you're my best friend. You don't have to say I'm your best friend. That's okay.
Can I get a snack for after Taekwondo?
Debate club?
You're in debate club?
Yes. Pizza club? That's not a thing.
Gymnastics championship.
Frito-Lay multi-packs. Practical smiles.
At Firehouse Subs, subs are hot, hearty, and extraordinary. Every sub helps provide life-saving equipment for first responders. Nice jaws of life, Lisa. So more people eating at Firehouse Subs means more life-saving equipment donated to first responders. If you're gonna have a sub, have one that makes a difference. How's that taste, Jim? Introducing the new pastrami Reuben with our sweet and tangy slaw. Just $6.39 for a medium. Firehouse Subs. Enjoy more subs, save more lives.
What if you didn't have to pay a premium to get a premium paint? At the Home Depot, you not only get the highest quality paint in America at the lowest price, you also get a 100% satisfaction guarantee. Mix that with more choices and more know-how, and you get more confidence to start painting. You can find a higher price, but you can't find a better paint, guaranteed. Now get Behr Premium Plus starting at $25.98. The Home Depot, more saving, more doing.
Okay, folks, let's get the lady of the house back on her feet and help her feel more strength and energy in just 2 weeks.
The complete balanced nutrition of Ensure with 9 grams of protein and 26 vitamins and minerals. Ensure, always be you.
Welcome back to AMHQ Early. Time to check on travel conditions coming up on 40 past the hour. It's all about Wilbur. Winter Storm Wilbur making it a snowy, messy Tuesday morning drive, especially in the upper Midwest and parts of the plains as well. On the left, we've got to look at I-35 in the Minneapolis area where you've got 30 degrees. Looks like the snow is really affecting even the main road here. 30 degrees in St. Paul. Yeah, not looking very good either. And not only will it be snowing today, those winds are going to be howling, gusting as high as 30 to 35 miles per hour. So the morning rush, if you can kind of avoid it, I would. I mean, the conditions don't look that great out there right now. And even by lunchtime, it's still going to be coming down pretty heavy at times from St. Cloud to Burnsville to Lakeland, the Mall of America. Yeah, we're going to be pretty snowed in out there all day long. You can see the red on the map just about everywhere. Temperatures staying below freezing. So that means the road conditions may be a little icy and dicey out there as well. Well, just because it is springtime doesn't mean you can let your guard down. Another round of snow and ice could make driving difficult. But if you have to drive in the snow, there are some things you should know to stay safe. Here's meteorologist Stephanie Abrams.
Do you dread driving in the winter? If you do, you are not alone. Icy roads, heavy snow, and poor visibility can make for a white knuckle experience. So let's use this car as an example to discuss the 2 main issues with winter driving visibility and road conditions. First, we're going to start off with visibility, or how far you can see. Now, with all these snowflakes coming down, and believe it or not, they're only around 5 millimeters across. But when you get a lot of them, obviously, it makes it really hard to see. So it all depends on the snowfall rate. When the snow is falling at 1 inch an hour, hour, chances are the visibility will be a mile or less. When you have 2 inches an hour, you're likely down to less than a quarter of a mile, and your reaction time is going to be reduced as well. But then you get the wind to kick in, and what happens? Well, you could get whiteout conditions. That is when you can't see barely in front of you. You get 0 mile visibility or just very, very low visibility. So snow is not the only hazard that you have to deal with. Freezing rain can also be quite dangerous. So let's talk about the road conditions here and the temperatures and what that does. So 32 below or 32 or below that, you can get thin ice that would just layer up on the road. An icy road will reduce the traction or the grip between your tires and the road. And when you go to stop, all of a sudden you just start gliding like skis on the road. You find yourself swerving in all different directions. And if you're going at 50 miles an hour, it can take a car 1,000 feet or more to come to a complete stop. So keep that in mind when you are driving this winter, and always make sure that you have some sort of kit, an emergency supply kit, in your car as well.
Another thing to keep in mind, if your car is covered in snow, make sure you clear off all the windows and the rooftop completely so that snow doesn't fly off your car and cause a crash and really affect the person behind you. Well, it certainly doesn't feel like spring, at least in the northern half of the country. Check out Williston. You are waking up to temperatures in the teens and lower teens at that. Look at that, 12 degrees right now, not even factoring in the wind and those low temperatures. Yeah, they're going to be falling to the single digits. Some of you may actually get down to 0 in the coming days, especially the morning time. So here's a look at the cold air really hanging on, especially closer to the Canadian border. In the southeast, so far unscathed, but we do have some cooler temperatures on the way as we head toward the end of the week and toward the weekend. But really the coolest of air is going to stay settled right here over the Great Lakes region into the northeast as well. Southwest looking good out there in Phoenix and Southern California. But here comes some of that cool air coming down toward the southeast. But I mean, we hit 80s in the southeast yesterday, including Atlanta. So we're just basically going to be talking about temperatures getting back to average or even a little bit below average for this time of the year. Now we're really below average, especially with these giant purple circles. That's where we have a departure by as much as 15 degrees today. So Bismarck, 25 for your high today. That's 25 to 30 degrees below average. Sioux Falls, South Dakota, not even getting up to freezing. Omaha barely above freezing with that high today, 36 degrees. I know you're ready to wear your spring clothes, but you still need the parkas, the heavy coats to keep warm, the hats, the gloves, all that. All right, tomorrow it's still going to be cooler than average for a lot of locations, especially here in Minnesota and Iowa. A few pockets of cold, though, down here into parts of Oklahoma and Texas. We've got some wind involved as well, so that's always going to make it feel even more uncomfortable. Well, it's not freezing cold everywhere. Let's take you somewhere warmer. How about South Beach in Miami area? Gorgeous look there. We've got Ocean Drive. Temperatures are going to be in the 80s, so really not too bad here, although we could see an isolated shower or a thunderstorm that we'll need to listen for if we're going to be out on the beach. Don't crank the music too loud with the earbuds. You definitely need to be able to hear the thunder, and when that roars, get indoors. All right, we do have the thunder roaring way up here to the north across the Ohio Valley, but so far so good for much of Florida on over towards New Orleans, but we do think that's going to change as we go later on today. We've got the moisture coming in on those southerly winds from the Gulf of Mexico. Temperatures right now starting out in the low 70s. From Houston on over towards New Orleans, we're 59 degrees. In Atlanta, temperatures are actually warmer, way warmer compared to yesterday. Look at Little Rock, 28 degrees warmer. Nashville, you're 12 degrees warmer compared to yesterday. So it's not just warmer, we also have higher moisture content. That's going to lead to more thunderstorms building up as we go throughout the day today. Atlanta getting close to 80 once again, and then tonight dropping it down to the 50s. Little Rock, you get cold tonight, 36, and then we raise it up to 60 degrees for your Wednesday. All right, let's check out your weekend in view, help you make those outdoor plans. I know a lot of folks are itching to get out in the yard and the garden this time of year. Some of you may have to hold off on that because it's still frozen up across the northern tier of the country. We are tracking snowstorm after snowstorm. Temperatures well below average for much of this upcoming week. Then you have that severe weather threat also stretching from about the Detroit area all the way down into parts of Texas. So strong damaging winds, hail, even tornadoes are a possibility. We bring the red over toward the Carolina coastline as we head towards Wednesday. Even New York City could hear a rumble of thunder to go along with some heavy rain. It does clear out nicely across the East Coast as we head towards Thursday, but then what do we have here? More snow scooting across the northern tier of the country into the Great Lakes region. Chicago, your highs by the end of the week into the weekend only in the 30s. That is like 20 degrees below average. We're also tracking perhaps some wintry weather in parts of the south with some cooler air there. And there we have some showers moving back into Florida by Sunday. Well, a line of strong storms will move across the country today. See when the storms will hit your town and who's facing a risk of heavy rain, damaging winds, and even the threat of tornadoes. We do have torcons of 4 out there for some of you, including Indianapolis. A chance of thunderstorms for you. Here is a live look where, we've got the rain coming down right now. You think you're done, but you're not. We've got another round coming through later on today, and these storms could be severe right through the overnight hours. We'll be right back.
The moment you realize you have enough food for your guests, but not enough fridge.
At Lowe's, we have more appliances to choose from, so you'll find the right one at the right price. And we'll deliver it for free.
Get up to 30% off select appliance special values at Lowe's.
If this is how your underwear situates your stuff, get bullpen underwear with Stay Put pouch. Only at Duluth stores and DuluthTrading.com.
Sometimes a cough gets in the way of a good night's sleep. That's when he needs Vicks VapoRub, proven cough medicine with 8 hours of vapors, so he can sleep. Vicks VapoRub. Good night, coughs.
How do you win at business? Stay at La Quinta, where we're changing with contemporary makeovers. Then use the ultimate power handshake, the upper hander with a double palm grab. Who has the upper hand now? Start winning today. Book now at LQ.com.
More and more people are finding themselves in a Chevrolet for the first time. Trying something new can be exciting, empowering, downright exhilarating. See for yourself why Chevrolet is the most awarded and fastest growing brand the last 4 years overall.
Switch into a new Chevy now. Get 20% below MSRP on all Cruze and Malibu LT models. That's over $5,400 on this Chevy Malibu. Find new roads at your local Chevy dealer.
Wouldn't you like to be out on the rolling sea with only the sky above?
Hey, Grandpa. Hey, kid. Really good to see you. You too. You told Grandma you were going fishing again? Maybe.
The best things in life keep going. That's why I got a Subaru too.
Love is out there. Find it in a Subaru Crosstrek.
When you are home alone, an emergency can become a tragedy. However, with any of Life Alert's 3 emergency systems, help can be summoned immediately, whether in the bathroom,
I've fallen in the shower.
at home,
Help! I've fallen and I can't get up.
and on the go.
Help! I've fallen in the park and I can't get up.
Don't worry, help is on the way.
Life Alert saves a life every 11 minutes.
For a free Life Alert brochure, call 1-800-503-3038. Call now, 1-800-503-3038. For a free brochure, call 1-800-503-3038.
It is a very brutal place to work. Anything could happen.
All new Highway Through Hell, Sunday nights at 8 on the Weather Channel.
Currently in our area, 36 degrees under cloudy skies. Tuesday, windy with morning showers. Thunder possible. High 45. Chance of rain 50%. Tuesday night, a mostly clear sky. Low 21. Winds north-northwest at 20 to 30 miles per hour. Wednesday, partly cloudy. High 52. Northwest winds shifting to south-southeast at 10 to 15 miles per hour. Here's our 7-day outlook.
Well, Parts of the Northeast are thawing out this morning after a spring snowstorm. Central Park in New York got 3 inches of snow Monday. Morristown, New Jersey, 4 inches. Some of that snow really buried the tulips in Queens. Look more like Christmas in Harlem rather than April. Spring break travelers had to deal with cancellations, delays, ground stops as well yesterday at both Kennedy and LaGuardia airports. So officially up over 5 inches actually in New York City, and that made it the snowiest day in about 36 years. So that was something, that's for sure. Now we've got the next thing, the next winter storm that we are tracking across the northern tier of the country. Its name is Wilbur, and you can see the darker shade of blue here on the map from southern Minnesota through northern Iowa, stretching across Wisconsin and northern Michigan. These are winter storm warnings. That means we have the potential to see at least 6 inches of accumulation. And you can see the light snow that's happening already for us this morning in Minneapolis, St. Paul, back towards the Black Hills of western South Dakota. We picked up a few inches of snow so far there. And what we're seeing on the radar, something else you can't see, the wind that is also howling across this region as well. So we've got our strong jet stream, the winds punching east right over the northern Great Lakes region. We are expecting those winds to really pick up across the Great Lakes as well, where gale watches and warnings have been posted. You get south of the warm front boundary, and this is where we're actually just tracking all rain this morning. This time yesterday, it was snowing in some parts of the Ohio Valley. Now it's all rain and thunderstorm activity. But you go to the north and west of our area of low pressure, that's where you've got the cold enough air to support all snow. So we are going to see it really pile up in some locations, especially south of Minneapolis and St. Paul. We could see as much as 5 to 8 inches of accumulation. Again, this is on top of what you may have already picked up. I know for a lot of you, it started late last night and it's still coming down out there this morning. So the darker blue indicating 3 to 5. And over here, Traverse City, get ready for about 5 to 8 inches of snow. Here's a look at our forecast, the timing for us in Minneapolis. If you can stay off the roads this morning, I would do that. We were just looking at I-35 a little while ago. It did not look good. And it's going to be windy and snowy all day long. We've got a live look now at Circle City of Indianapolis. A messy start to your Tuesday, and it's not because of snow, but rather rain. And we've been seeing some flashes of lightning as well. You think this might be it, but unfortunately we've got another round for later on today, and that round could be more dangerous. We're talking severe weather stretching from the Ohio Valley all the way down into the south. So plenty of lightning out there this morning on the radar. No watches or warnings in effect quite yet, but you can see the storms rumbling through Indianapolis right now, east central Illinois, and making their way across Ohio as well. So that ride along I-70, it is not a fun one. We've got poor visibility due to all that heavy rain and lots of flashes of lightning too. Taking a look at our high resolution future radar, and you'll see that that rain really has staying power through the morning hours, through the afternoon as well. Hopefully it helps to really stabilize the atmosphere, or at least keep it a little more stable, so that the storms later today don't get too bad out there, but we can't rule it out. And you can see more of a cellular nature to the radar as we go toward the nighttime hours. Those are your dangerous storms that could be supercells and therefore rotate and produce tornadoes. We do have torcons of a 4 for this area right up here across the Ohio Valley. So severe thunderstorms likely in that darker shade of red, lighter shade of red surrounding that. It's possible. And look at how many people could be impacted by the severe weather, from Houston to New Orleans, all the way up to Detroit, even Erie and Pittsburgh. We've got the threat for some strong thunderstorms as well. For the torcon today, it is a 4 for most of Indiana and Ohio. That is a 40% chance we could see tornadoes. A 3 as we work our way down into southern Illinois and parts of Kentucky. It's also a 3 here in Tennessee. That's a 30% chance that we could see tornadoes within 50 miles. Even if you don't actually get a tornado, hail and high wind, those are other threats that were involved here. You can see where we do have a medium chance for seeing 1-inch hail. That's quarter size. And also the wind kind of going along with that same area where we're likely to see more shear and therefore the tornado threat as well. So you do have the threat of seeing winds at least 60 miles per hour. That can do a lot of damage as well. Raleigh, North Carolina, we've got a few clouds out there for this evening. Otherwise, it's going to be tomorrow morning's commute. That is where you're going to hear the thunder and the pouring rain as well. But we do dry things out for Wednesday night and drop it down to 38 degrees. Nashville, we're concerned about severe weather here, too. About a 20 to 30% chance we could see tornadoes. You could see windy conditions with that as well. All right, a live look now at Galveston, Texas this morning. We can expect to see clouds and showers today. And yeah, we definitely have a stormy forecast all the way down to popular spring break destinations. So if you are traveling, make sure you know, first of all, what county you're in or what parish you're in if you're in Louisiana, because even here we do have the threat for severe storms. Here's the enhanced satellite picture. Not a whole lot going on at this early hour, which is good news, but it's going to be hot out there today. A lot of Texas looking at highs in the 80s, with the exception being Amarillo, 58, 61 degrees in Oklahoma City. And even outside of thunderstorm activity, it's going to be kind of breezy here across the plains. Overnight lows getting below freezing in Oklahoma City, 31. 42 degrees in Dallas. And as we take a look at tomorrow, temperatures coming back down closer to where they should be for this time of the year. We're talking 60s in Dallas, 70 at the Riverwalk area in San Antonio, and 71 in Lake Charles, Louisiana. Well, Winter Storm Wilbur tracking across the northern plains and making its way eventually to Green Bay. That's where the Weather Channel's Janelle Klein is this morning. Hey there, Janelle.
Hi, Kelly. Yeah, snow on the way. Pretty calm right now, but we'll see 5 to 8 inches here in Green Bay and through much of Wisconsin, along with heavy winds, tough travel, and lots of other problems. We'll tell you more when we come back.
I'm Jimmy. This is my definition of fresh since 1983.
So you'll be here to help protect my car?
State Farm will be here.
Okay. What about here?
Yep. Nice. My screen didn't crack.
Thank goodness. What about...
Obviously.
Here?
I don't think so.
That makes sense.
What about here? Here too.
Awesome.
That wasn't my fault.
Go with the one that's here to help life go right. State Farm.
Growing up, we were German. We danced in a German dance group. I wore lederhosen. When I first got on Ancestry, I was really surprised that I wasn't finding all of these Germans in my tree. I decided to have my DNA tested through Ancestry DNA. The big surprise was we're not German at all. 52% of my DNA comes from Scotland and Ireland. So I traded in my lederhosen for a kilt.
Ancestry has many paths to discovering your story. Get started for free at Ancestry.com.
What the hell happened last night?
It was an accident.
One of America's greatest cover-ups is now a major motion picture.
Dead body holds a lot of secrets. Those can be the difference between guilt and innocence.
Chappaquiddick is exactly what you want it to be.
We tell the truth, or at least our version of it.
Tense, scrupulous, suspenseful, relentless, and edge-of-your-seat absorbing.
This family perseveres. We have a true compass, and we follow it.
Chappaquiddick, rated PG-13, in theaters Friday.
Will you stay for practice, Mom?
Yeah. Now go kick some points. Can't choose your parents.
For America's #1 walk-behind mower brand, look no further than your neighborhood Toro dealer. You'll find the best selection of Toro walk-behinds, zero turns, parts and accessories, and the #1 source for Toro innovations like the MyRide suspension platform, all backed by the personal service of your trusted local Toro dealer. Don't settle for anything less.
Toro, count on it. Count on us.
Find your local Toro dealer at toro.com/local.
Severe storms rumbling across the Ohio Valley. Why wind and hail are the biggest threats. Jim.
All right, winter is winning the battle of the seasons right now. Today's target, the upper Midwest. Right, Janelle?
That's right, Jim. Green Bay and much of Wisconsin bracing for snow today. 5 to 8 inches through much and a lot of heavy winds. We could see some tough travel. Kelly?
So a disaster strikes and you want to help. What you need to know before jumping into action, that's coming up right now on AMHQ.
Good morning to our meteorologist Stephanie Abrams alongside meteorologist Jim Cantori and Kelly Cass. It may be April, but it feels more like in February as we have Winter Storm Wilbur bringing snow and a lot of it as well. We could see 8 to 10 inches, if not more in some places. Yesterday, though, it was the Northeast that was getting socked in by snow, and a lot of people are sick of it.
This is the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen, and I still have to drive all the way to New Jersey, so what a great morning.
I am ready for spring. I'm not a winter person, and like to see some sunshine.
I actually like the winter, so I think it's awesome. It's a winter wonderland, but it is crazy for the roads and for it to be April.
You always find one, right? Well, Tobyhanna, Pennsylvania, the big winner yesterday with at least 9 inches of snow. But listen to Central Park getting 5.5 inches of snow, breaking all sorts of records. Jim, beating yesterday's record of 2 inches that was set in 1871.
It was a top April snowfall, yes, Steph. Snow in the north, severe weather across much of the Midwest and across the South. The battlegrounds not far apart today, but people in St. Paul, Minnesota, Brookings, South Dakota, they're waking up to snow, and they will get more snow as we go on through the day today. Indianapolis, Pittsburgh, heavy rain, flood threat, damaging wind threat, you name it. So that's where we're going to start this morning with our severe threat. Steph, take it away.
All right, so let's go for it here. We do have a front that I should say we have a low pressure that's developing and our front as well, our cold front, and we do have that warm front. So right along this cold front is where we are going to see the biggest threat of severe weathers. It's not just because we have a cold front. That's just one of our lifting mechanisms, one of our sources that's going to give us that oomph in the atmosphere. We also have some upper level wind energy, a little bit of jet energy coming across Arkansas and Tennessee. I think that's why we have a threat there. And then the wind's not as strong up here into Indiana and Ohio, but still enough in order to cause severe weather. The jet max is a little bit farther off to our west. So here is our warm front right here. That warm, moist air coming up and over it, and therefore we are getting the storms. Lightning as well for a lot of us here from Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, all kind of riding east along this boundary and along this layer here. And we are going to see this actually intensify as we head through the day because we have that system, but that low pressure is going to be getting stronger as we head throughout the morning. And I actually think as we head into the early evening hours, late afternoon, early evening, that's when we're going to see things really crank. So Indianapolis, it is a bright morning for you and a loud morning for you as well. But again, today, this is all going to strengthen the system that we have in place as we head throughout the day. We have our highest oomph, our highest convective available potential energy. I know it's early for a big long word like that, down into Texas. So we can't rule out storms here. But the thing is we have that cape heading all the way into the Midwest. So we have all the different ingredients. It's the timing of when they're all going to kind of cross over each other of what they're going to bring us, Jim.
What's really interesting is the high cape may lead to a big hail threat today.
Yeah, in Texas. Across
northeast Texas, if we can get the air to rise on its own. So really, today's really interesting because of the different threat areas. It's not everybody just gets everything. It's if we break the cap, this is where the big hail threat is. Once the low-level jet kicks in, as Steph was talking about, which we will see. By the way, it's about 65 knots. All right, for a large area. So that's why we're expecting such a large damaging wind threat in through here. You go upstairs a little bit to about 17,000 feet. We got a little bit more of a southwesterly jet cutting across this area. So it's really right in here that we kind of maximize our tornado potential today. Now, albeit it's not super high, but that's how we kind of separate things. Hail is in the pink, damaging wind is in the pink, hail is in the yellow here, and our tornado threat is going to be up to the north. That's really how it breaks down today. So that's where our Torcon numbers are the highest. Indiana and Ohio, I really think it probably would shift a little bit toward Ohio. I'm worried about Indianapolis and parts of Indiana and Ohio getting a flood threat today. Central and southern Illinois, western Kentucky, 3. So, sometimes with these bows or these waves that we see, if you will, on the main squall line, you can get a little spin up on that. So we're going to worry about that. But here's where we go this morning. Look at this. Already raining in through here. Look at Indianapolis. It only intensifies during the morning. That's why we have the flood advisory. It's still cranking at 3 p.m. And then here comes the forcing. Look at this. Individual storms down there toward western Kentucky. We'll watch all these all the way up in Ohio here. It's going to be a busy afternoon. And Steph, as you can see here, after the sun goes down.
Yeah.
We're still talking about some big storms.
Can you imagine if that northern jet branch of it was a little bit farther east? We'd be in big trouble. We'd be in big trouble with that one. Well, One city under the gun today is Houston, Texas. Storms will start in the morning and continue through tonight. Fortunately for baseball fans, Minute Maid Park has a roof, so we don't have to worry about any game interference against the Baltimore Orioles. But that's not really the problem, Kelly. It's getting in and out of the game and tailgating. That's where we're going to have the issues.
Yeah, transporting yourself there. Good luck, because we do expect some heavy rain to go along with hail and high wind as well. And we've got a huge swath of the country painted in red today. Yes, the darker red is where we have the best chance for severe, but that means, you know, all the way down here in Texas, we can still be concerned about severe weather as well. Places like Houston, South Padre Island, spring break season, of course. Definitely be aware of the threat over toward New Orleans, Biloxi, and Mobile. Even here, we could see some strong to severe thunderstorms as well. So the main threat, of course, we talked about the hail threat. The winds will pick up with these storms as well. Of course, on saturated ground, coming off the wettest February on record. We're still recovering in some places here in Arkansas, Louisiana. Then we bring in some heavy rain. So you could have severe warnings along with flood warnings at times today, depending on the rainfall rates. Thunderstorms could turn severe by about 6 o'clock tonight, right around dinner time here in the eastern parts of Texas, including Lufkin, over towards Shreveport, parts of Mississippi as well. We do expect a very active afternoon and evening. And then tonight, the threat continues, which of course is a dangerous time to get the severe weather. So make sure you've got a way to get those warnings. All right, from spring storms to spring snow. Jim, you've got the latest on Winter Storm Wilbur.
It is all connected. Winter storm alerts actually stretching from Montana into Maine this morning. That includes St. Paul, Minnesota, Marquette, Michigan. Winter Storm Wilbur is bringing several more inches of snow to these cities. And by the way, we based our names on popular baby names, so not the horse this year, as we were alerted to yesterday, Steph.
2016 baby names. By the way, I looked up, we talked a lot about Minneapolis and how far we were below average.
Right.
With all the snow that we've gotten, we're only
Marquette's
just over an inch above average now on snowfall there into Minneapolis. Yeah, I mean, we were like 14 inches.
That's interesting. All right.
Yeah, we were like 14 inches below average. We had to make all that up, though. All right, let's show you what's happening here with Wilbur and talk about what we're seeing on the water vapor. So we have this trough that's digging in, and here's what's going to happen. We have our low pressure right ahead of this system, and so this low pressure, what it's going to do is behind it, it's going to pull down some of that cooler air, and it's going to be aided by our upper level low that we have there. So let's talk about what we have. There's our disturbance that's going to be digging in, okay? And we do have this strong jet stream as well. Now, what I was mentioning to Jim earlier is this jet stream is actually going to be just behind our surface front. But if we could take that whole jet stream and plop it right over where our surface system is right now, we could be seeing some big time trouble. So here's what we have. Again, this is a warm sector, so this is all warm air. Then it pulls in the cold air behind the cold front. So there's cold air behind it, and there's plenty of moisture. We see that, right? It's all getting tossed up and over, and therefore we do have winter weather alerts, and a big area is seeing that. And here's the thing, we're going to see big snowfall totals with this too. Right now, again, just getting started, all right? We've only just begun. The Carpenters sang that one, right? We've only just begun. It's a great song. So here's a look at the snow where it's falling right now, and where we are going to see it is all along this swath here, and we could see some major totals as we go through the day. Jim, Green Bay is one of those areas that could see that.
They could. Right now, I'm just hoping for a healthy quarterback as we go into the football season in Green Bay. Anyway, winter storm warnings in effect for Minnesota, Wisconsin, and Michigan, as Steph just showed you. That does include Green Bay, and that is where we find the Weather Channel's Janelle Klein this morning. Janelle, good morning. You're in blue instead of green, but that's okay. What is it like right now?
I'm sorry. I know you're a Packer fan, Jim. I'll try to do better next time. But yeah, we're not seeing a ton of snow here right now. You can see just a kind of a light dusting on the ground, and that was really just starting early morning hours. We're seeing, though, that storm is going to be moving in quickly. Let's take a look at some video we got in the Twin Cities area, including greater Minnesota yesterday. That's what Green Bay is bracing for. We're going to see 5 to 8 inches here today, and heavy winds, 35-mile-an-hour gusts at times, so we know that travel will be difficult. That snow could be mixed with rain as well, so we could see some slick conditions, and Wisconsin authorities warning people to use cautions on the road, especially today because it happens to be election day here in Wisconsin. And this also happened on primary election day in February, so kind of ironic that it would happen a second time, and it does have authorities worried, knowing there'll be a lot of people out today. So far, we're not hearing of any flight delays or travel problems as of yet, but again, as that snow moves in along with the wind, we could see some tough travel conditions here in Green Bay and really throughout greater Wisconsin, guys.
All right, we appreciate that, Janelle, for the update. By the way, It was 30 where Janelle is. If you go over to Rolla, North Dakota this morning, it's 2 degrees below zero. So yeah, just about every morning we could find 2 degrees below zero. I can't believe Lincoln, Illinois got to 1 below yesterday. That's unbelievable. By the way, they're about 45 right now in thunderstorms, fog. Minneapolis, there it is, Sioux Falls getting into the steadier snow a little bit later on this morning in the Twin Cities. Green Bay gets it as we go toward the lunchtime hour and afternoon. That's when the heaviest burst is coming through. And remember, all this is coming over to help feed these large areas of thunderstorms we're going to see today. And we're talking about Ohio all the way down into Texas. So we're going to have a pretty busy weather map today overall. Notice by 11 o'clock, we taper it off for you in Minneapolis. Start to taper it off during the overnight hours, and certainly tomorrow morning, 24 hours from now, it'll all be over even in toward Green Bay. So that is how we're looking. Snowfall, though, will be nice. This is going to be a very decent snow producer here. We don't have a super amount of moisture, but we got enough to produce 5 to 8 inch swath, pretty close to the Twin Cities, all the way across central Wisconsin into Michigan and through here. How would you like to be Michigan coming home to a cold rain, Kel, after the night? Oh, such disappointment.
Hey, but congratulations to Villanova, right?
Yeah.
All right, we're happy for that.
2 out of 3 years. That's good.
Yeah, all right. We'll take a look at the timing now for specific cities to help you plan your day. And it's going to be a snow day here in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. It is lightly snowing right now. Temperature below freezing, 29 degrees. Thankfully, the winds are not that gusty here, at least not yet anyway. I've been seeing some stronger wind reports in the western part of North Dakota, South Dakota. But that wind will likely pick up here as well. The darker blue indicating some of that heavier snowfall as we go through the morning hours. So definitely your morning rush is affected. Lunchtime, grabbing a bite to eat. It's still snowing out there. It's like a winter wonderland on this April 3rd, and then the snow begins to finally taper off and get out of here by dinner time. Minneapolis, here's your snow. It's snowing right now, actually, in the Twin Cities. Interstate 35 did not look pretty, by the way, last I checked. The average April snowfall about 2.3 inches. Our snowfall forecast over the next few days, 3 to 5 inches, Steph.
All right, so New York City, go and dust your shoulder off. After Monday's snowfall, it was the city's biggest during the month of April since 1982. Now, the flakes were wet and slushy, and they stuck, but they didn't last very long. All right. I was looking at, Twitter and Instagram and all this sort of stuff yesterday afternoon. There was no snow left on the ground in a lot of locations. And I actually have some insider information. I asked someone, is there any snow left on the ground last night? A little bit, not really a whole lot. So let's talk about our average April. 6/10 of an inch. 6/10 of an inch. The old record on this day, by the way, 2 inches in 1871. And look how much we got yesterday. 5.5 inches. So that's what was new yesterday morning. Kelly, what's new this morning?
It's been a while since we've had that kind of snowfall, Steph. And Winter Storm Wilbur should miss the big cities on the eastern seaboard this week. New this morning, people across the Northeast are ready for winter to just pack its bags and go away. It looks and sounds an awful lot like January.
This is the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. And I still have to drive all the way to New Jersey. So what a great morning.
Welcome to April in New York City.
Can you believe we're going through this again?
No. April? No way.
5.5 inches of snow spread across Manhattan Monday. New York City's snowiest April day in 36 years.
It's springtime, supposedly, but it looks more like winter. Are you over all of the snow that we've had?
I am so over it. I am ready for spring.
The flakes were heavy, wet, and slushy. Some drivers refused to be bothered. They learned the hard way.
They're speeding, and they should be more careful, because every time there's a snowstorm and I'm driving back, there's a major accident. So people are definitely not taking their time.
New York suburbs racked up impressive totals for April. Many collected between 4 and 8 inches.
I'm pretty done for the frozen hellscape of winter to end. So.
The blast of winter forced the New York Yankees to call off their home opener. The game now rescheduled for this afternoon. The spring storm made commuters wet and late and forced alternative transportation.
I'm not a winter person, and I like to see some sunshine.
Snow fatigue, it seems, even has pets a bit cranky. Well, New York City, by the way, has gotten nearly 41 inches of snow so far this season. That's more than a foot above average. So New York has definitely seen a snowy winter. And Jim, not just the Yankees, but the Mets, they had to call off play yesterday as well.
One of those rare occasions, Kel, where they're both playing at home. Usually they play in opposite cities here. But as Kelly told us, the Yankees plan to play their home opener today. The snowstorm also led to the Mets calling off their game as well against the Phillies. And so they will play it as well.
So we're out
out here at Citi Field, me and the boys, we want to introduce you guys to another person, another member of the team. He's very salty and peppery, and he's got the shake.
He's got the shakes. That's pretty good, actually. How about the Mets? I love that little sense of humor here. The Mets will make up Monday's game as part of a doubleheader on July 9th, actually. I don't think the snowman will be there, though. Let's talk about the forecast for New York City. As we know, the Yankees are playing tonight, Tuesday night. Showers and thunderstorms. And as we work our way into, and some of these it's going to be really windy. I'll tell you that right now. One of the things we don't have, it's easy to show you precip, but we're going to have a tropical storm up here in terms of the wind. Huge wind across New York State and New England. Expect damages and power outages. Steph, over to you.
All right. Well, coming up next here on AMHQ, we have your travel forecast and the surprise stowaway that lets someone else handle the flying for a change. Oh, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Also, we're talking Wilbur and the snow dropping and also the temperatures dropping.
Any object, any surface. If you've got a life, you've got a Swiffer.
It's the biggest news ever at Olive Garden. All new big Italian classics starting at $12.99. Dishes too big to miss and too good to pass up. Feast your eyes on the biggest meatball you've ever seen. Twirl up stuffed, yes, cheese-stuffed fettuccine Alfredo. Plus all the salad and breadsticks you want. All new big Italian classics starting at $12.99. For a limited time, only at Olive Garden. Olive Garden catering is now easier than ever. Order online.
Hello, Mom.
Amanda's mom's appointment just got rescheduled for today. Amanda needs right at home. Our customized care plan provides as much or as little help as her mom requires, whether it's a ride to the doctor or help around the house.
Oh, of course. Tom, I am really sorry. I've got to go.
Look, call right at home.
Get the right care right at home.
We all know that place. The pizza joint that used to be a massage clinic that used to be a daycare, dojo, and a nail salon. Was it the location, or did they not know how to market their business to stay in business? Everything your customers see tells a story. So from business cards and banners to expertly packed shipments to mailboxes with a real street address. Go to the UPS store today for help.
For a limited time, visit upsstoreprint.com/500 and get 500 business cards for just $9.99.
When you are home alone, an emergency can become a tragedy. However, with any of Life Alert's 3 emergency systems, help can be summoned immediately, whether in the bathroom,
I've fallen in the shower.
at home,
Help! I've fallen and I can't get up.
and on the go.
Help! I've fallen in the park and I can't get up.
Don't worry, help is on the way.
Life Alert saves a life every 11 minutes.
For a free Life Alert brochure, call 1-800-503-3038. Call now, 1-800-503-3038. For a free brochure, call 1-800-503-3038.
It is a very brutal place to work. Anything can happen.
All new Highway Through Hell, Sunday nights at 8 on the Weather Channel.
Stay tuned for your local on the 8s, brought to you by Prevagen, the name to remember.
I love my grandma.
As you grow older, your brain naturally begins to change, which may cause trouble with recall.
Learning from him is great when I can keep up.
Thankfully, Prevagen helps your brain and improves memory.
Dad's got all the answers.
Prevagen is now the #1 selling brain health supplement in drugstores nationwide.
She outsmarts me every single time.
Checkmate. You want to play again?
Prevagen, healthier brain, better life.
Currently in our area, 36 degrees with light rain. Today, cloudy with gusty winds. High 45. Winds could occasionally gust over 40 miles per hour. Tonight, mainly clear. Low 21. Winds north-northwest at 20 to 30 miles per hour. Wednesday, partly cloudy skies. High 52. Northwest winds shifting to south-southeast at 10 to 15 miles per hour. Here's our 7-day outlook.
So this is one way to add a little excitement to a long, dull airplane ride. Okay, come to your television screen and check out what's happening on this flight, because how miserable would this be? A stowaway makes a scene here on a flight from Southeast Asia to the Arabian Peninsula. Now, the flight attendants tried to catch this bird, but they had no luck until the plane landed. Now, just for perspective, in the commercial break, I thought, okay, how many miles is it from, let's say, Malaysia to Dubai? It is over 3,000 miles. That is like going from New York to LA. This was at least, I would say, at minimum, a 4-hour flight with a freaking bird flying around. Okay? Would that not drive you nuts? Everyone seems quite calm, though. Let's have a look at our travel conditions at 20 past the hour. Roads are wet across the Ohio Valley this morning. Some heavy downpours, actually, in Ohio, also Indiana. I-75 in Cincinnati on the left, and then Cleveland there on the right. You can see all the clouds that are hanging low here. So it's going to be a rainy day. And Kelly, we actually just got a flash flood warning. Or flood warning, I should say.
Flash flood warning in parts of Indiana, Clay, Owen, and Vigo counties. In that flash flooding, we were worried this would happen. We do have the threat for severe weather and a lot of heavy rain stretching from parts of Ohio all the way down into Texas. That's the red on the map. The blue, of course, that is your snow. We could potentially see some de-icing and snow removal delays in places like the Twin Cities, Green Bay. We've got the snow eventually for you guys as well. And then it's all rain pushing into the northeast. So let's check on the potential delays, because so far so good, no delays, but that could change for New York as well as Detroit. Snow for Minneapolis, possible delays for St. Louis, but Atlanta looking good out there today, Steph.
Well, we've already seen a burst of rain in Indianapolis today. Flood advisory so for central Indiana through the morning hours. Rain should taper off around lunchtime, but later in the afternoon, Indiana could see fireworks, and we're talking about the natural kind. You see the rain there. So let's talk about our storm setup. Now, overall, we are going to have our cold front. We're going to have our, oops, sorry, that should be red. Our warm front here. That's where those storms are lining up in Indiana. And then, of course, we have our low. Now, here's the thing. When we look at our surface winds, okay, ahead of a cold front, they go about this. We have some upper level winds here throughout portions of Arkansas and Tennessee that are strong, that are cutting across this way. And then we also have some upper level winds right up in this area through Indiana and also Ohio that are kind of almost in the same direction as our surface winds. And I mention that because that is going to give an indication of the type of severe weather that we're going to see. Now, all of this is just the beginning. Okay, this is basically our warm front action that we're seeing. When the cold front develops later today, it's going to look a little bit different. We'll show you that later. This is where we do have our first flash flood warning just to the south of I-70 for us, Indianapolis. It is stormy all day for you because we are just going to sit right there on that warm front. Now, let's go back to what I was talking about and the wind direction and the wind speed. That can help us to determine the type of severe weather we're going to get, and Jim has more.
Yeah, let's talk about that. And I'm not convinced that Indianapolis, by the way, you guys are going to get out of the rain or the flood threat today. That flood advisory could easily become a flash flood warning, actually, as we go on through the morning hours. So keep an eye on that's what's going on there. Let's just go to the shear right out of the gate. So Steph mentioned the low-level wind being very, very strong out of that cold front. You can see that. Winds will be out of the southwest generally all the way up and down the atmosphere. So there's not a lot of change in wind direction with height. But look at this. I'm just going to turn this so you can see it. You go from 19 at the surface to 4,000 feet at 65 miles an hour. That's a heck of a low-level roll right there. All right, and a heck of a wind that you can easily transport down in thunderstorms. So this is the wind that moves up through Indiana today. It's the wind that moves up through Ohio. It's Kentucky. It's also Missouri. It's all the way down through Arkansas. So this is why there's such a large-scale damaging wind threat. This wind profile, even though it's Indianapolis at about 5 o'clock this afternoon, really represents almost this entire multi-state area out ahead of this cold front. And look at this. If you even go upstairs farther, look at 12,000 feet, almost 80 miles an hour, and then 16,000 10,000 feet over 80 miles an hour, 84 miles an hour. So that's really a big deal today, and that represents the issues that we have. So the front out ahead of that, everybody, as you can see, is going to deal with that. All right, Kelly, over to you.
All right, directional wind shear, we'll be watching for that, especially closer to our warm front. You can see the blue wind streams here. This is winds out of the south. At the surface, you go up in the atmosphere, though, up to around 850 millibars, and those winds are coming in from a different direction, slightly different direction, but out of the southwest. And that's why we're concerned closer to this area across the Ohio Valley, where we could have the chance for tornadoes today. Now, there's a huge swath of the country that could deal with all forms of severe weather, but the tornado threat is greatest across Indiana as well as Ohio. A torcon of a 4, that's a 40% chance we could see tornadoes today. A 3 down towards southern Illinois, parts of Kentucky. It's also a 3 here in parts of the Tennessee Valley as well. That's a 30% chance that we could see tornadoes. And unfortunately for some of you, this threat may wait until later on tonight as you're putting the kids to bed. That's when things could get pretty active out there. So make sure you've got a way to get the warnings. And even if we don't get tornadoes, winds can do a lot of damage, even straight line winds, 60, 70 miles per hour. That is going to be greatest right here in that hotter shade of pink, Cincinnati to Memphis. We've got you in that. And there's going to be a chance for some hail with these storms as well. So some safety tips, kind of survey the yard, make sure everything is secure, stay away from the trees and power lines, and of course, treat any severe warning like you would a tornado warning, as low as you can go, away from the windows. Steph.
Well, one place is starting to look like spring, the nation's capital. Look at this in Washington, D.C. The cherry trees are in bloom. And aren't they just beautiful? Sunrise in D.C. is set for 6:50, but will it be as pretty as the cherry blossoms? Doubtful. Here's a look at where you're going to have the best sunrise forecast. And I know it's a little hard to see, but where the yellow and red are, that's where you will have the good and the great sunrise. You can see in D.C. it's going to be more on the fair side. Well, as spring storms fire up today, we could see damaging winds. We'll show you who's at risk for strong wind gusts and the possibility of tornadoes. Plus, check this out. What do you think could cause this? We're going to show you how fire and water came together, forming these steam tornadoes.
I'm Jimmy. This is my definition of fresh since 1983.
Will you stay for practice, Mom?
Yeah. Now go kick some points.
Can't choose your parents.
This is the ocean. Oh, let's swim together in the water clear and clean. It makes us feel better. Just listen. Doesn't care where we've been. There's so much we want to show her. We needed a car that would last long enough to see it all.
Subaru Outback. 98% are still on the road after 10 years.
For America's #1 walk-behind mower brand, look no further than your neighborhood Toro dealer. You'll find the best selection of Toro walk-behinds, zero turns, parts and accessories, and the #1 source for Toro innovations like the MyRide suspension platform, all backed by the personal service of your trusted local Toro dealer. Don't settle for anything less.
Toro, count on it. Count on us.
Find your local Toro dealer at toro.com/local.
Where's Gary?
Saved money on motorcycle insurance with Geico. Going up the country. Later, Gary.
I have a motorcycle. Wonderful.
Geico Motorcycle. Great rates for great rides.
To Ted Kennedy.
In the White House in '72.
We're family. We share a lifetime bond.
What the hell happened last night?
It was an accident.
Court of public opinion will have your head on a stake.
We tell the truth, or at least our version of it.
A dead body holds a lot of secrets.
Are you saying that maybe she didn't drown? I could have had her out of that car in 25 minutes if I got the call. But no one called.
Sometimes the path you're on isn't always the path you choose.
What's stopping you from making that choice yourself?
I can't watch you do this, Ted. You what, Joe? Self-destruct. Moses had a temper. Peter betrayed Jesus. I have temper quitting.
Moses had a temper, but he never left a girl at the bottom of the Red Sea.
Chappaquiddick, rated PG-13, in theaters Friday.
Closed captioning brought to you by VSP Individual Vision Plans.
Look, Grandpa.
Wow, what a monster.
No, it's you.
You can get coverage on your own through VSP Individual Vision Plans. See better. For life, for less.
Time now for your big picture forecast, and we've got a lot of weather, and this is going to last really through a big chunk of the rest of the week. Let's first talk about our severe weather threat, because it's going to be a pretty significant one here through a large stretch of real estate from Texas all the way up to the Midwest. Speaking of the Midwest, we're going all the way up, and I'm talking about snow totals 5 to 8 inches in locations thanks to the backside of this cold air coming in and plenty of moisture on the front side. And then our temperatures are dropping yet again. We are going to see this time and time again. This is only the first. We have another system that's actually dropping down that's going to drag some cold air in with it as well. So we are not finished.
Okay, so in early April, it's interesting to see 20s and 30s, but single digits below zero. I mean, that's a little bit.
Well, you know, yesterday's also was aided by a little bit of snowpack on the ground, so that was able to keep them colder as well. But that is starting to fade away too with the sunshine.
Yeah, there's thunderstorms.
Well, hopefully you are not fading away. It's Tuesday and it's very early in the morning. We're trying to get you in the game here. We're talking about the threat for 48 million people today.
We are, and unfortunately, a lot of that's going to have Winter Storm Wilbur attached to it. The video, though, perfectly demonstrates what Steph's first couple of graphics were about. Winter meeting spring, right? Freshly bloomed tulips, trying to overcome the New York snowfall as winter hangs on. But most of that snow is actually gone. And you know what, Steph? What's really interesting about snow is it's very high in nitrogen. So the plants actually like that material.
I mean, let's not get carried away. Tulips do not like snow. Let's not get carried away. Maybe the soil.
The soil, it helps feed, the nitrogen helps feed the soil.
But I don't think they like being covered in snow. Do you like think being covered in snow?
I don't know what you ask them.
Well, next time I'm out there, I'll be the weirdo talking to the plants. Not weirdo. Some people actually do. I actually shouldn't say that at all because you're like, come on, grow for me, grow for me. Totally not weird at all. I got to tell you that right there. So I take that back. Let's have a look at our severe weather here. And again, this is where we have our highest threat of severe weather. Now, here's the thing. There's a lot going on when you look at the maps and, you know, the rain threat and the hail and the wind threat. We're going to break it all down for you. So here it is, Indianapolis. You've been getting hit hard this morning, not only with the lightning, but the heavy rain as well, flash flood warnings. And again, this is all along this warm front. And you look along warm fronts. There's also a little bit of a trough right here, kind of just north of it. So that's kind of what they're riding along. Anyhow, you look at those areas, and that's where storms follow along, and that's where you have to watch for flooding. So, you know, that's something that we have to consider today. Now, warm, moist air. I want you to notice this is what's happening at the surface, okay? Upper level winds around Arkansas and Tennessee, they're a little bit stronger and kind of cutting across in this direction. Our upper level winds in Illinois and Indiana are also kind of from the southwest. And so when you have the winds coming from the same direction, but much faster at higher levels, what that does is it blows the tops off the thunderstorms, gives them more room to grow, and you can get hail and wind threat. Then you have everything fire up along the cold front as we head later this afternoon into the evening hours. And this is definitely going to produce some boomers and some hail and some damaging winds and some very heavy rain. So, Jim, our Torcons here, 3s and 4s anywhere from Tennessee to Indiana, respectively.
All right, that's the severe side. Let's go to the winter side. And 3 are already cranking up this morning. Sioux Falls dealing with the snow. As a matter of fact, some decent snow around the Sioux. Orange Falls in Iowa reporting moderate snow. And you can see it's right under this band right in through here. Snowing up toward the Twin Cities, not too far, certainly from St. Paul. The heaviest snow is to the south, though. It's actually moving farther east into Wisconsin than it is, if you will, in St. Paul, interestingly enough, or north of St. Paul. And that's where it's going to be. It's just going to kind of make a trajectory across into Green Bay, which is where Janelle is. It's going to make it across toward Traverse City, of course, in Michigan, and down to the south, Chicago, Milwaukee, unfortunately, Madison, or not Madison, what am I thinking? Ann Arbor is going to be mostly rain, kind of a cold rain, maybe a few ice pellets thrown in for good measure, and then everybody eventually ends. Even Chicago adds a little bit of snow and through here, and the colder temperatures come rushing in. But a decent snowfall, 5 to 8 inches across Wisconsin into Michigan. Kel.
It was hot yesterday, 81 degrees in Atlanta. That was the first time we hit the 80s since October. So it's been a while, about 5 months or so. Charlotte also got into the 80s yesterday. You've got the mild temps out there now, and it's going to be slightly cooler today, but still pretty warm. We're 27 degrees warmer in Little Rock, by the way, compared to this time yesterday. So we do have those southerly winds doing its thing and heating things up and transporting the moisture that we'll need for some of those showers and storms later today as well. So we're near 80 degrees for several locations. Atlanta, our average high this time of the year, right around 70 degrees. The other story, of course, the pollen. It is running high. Tree pollen to blame. That's what's showing up here in the red. Steph.
All right, now we want to talk about what to wear forecast. And we're going to show you our first stop, and that is going to be Orlando, Florida. And of course, this is where you need that sweat wicking clothing, because if you're like Cantoria and you're a sweaty man, you're going to be definitely pouring it out here. 87, that's it for you, right, Jim? I mean, you're just like, it's pouring out of every,
toast.
Yeah. All right, so let's have a look at Oklahoma City. 64 degrees, partly cloudy with the wind, of course. Maybe some pants here. And you get the short sleeve shirt. You don't have to get too bundled up, which is nice for that. And then as we work our way into our last stop here, Boston, 46 degrees and some showers this afternoon. Don't forget Wilbur's headed our direction, so be ready for that rain when it gets in. We're back with your travel forecast.
This program brought to you by Duluth Trading. Highly capable clothing crafted for highly capable women.
Every yank of your tank is a tug of war. It's about time someone declared war on the tug. The Duluth Trading No Yank Tank. Stop yanking and get cranking. Only at Duluth stores and DuluthTrading.com.
If you have moderate to severe plaque psoriasis, little things can be a big deal. That's why there's Otezla. Otezla is not an injection or a cream. It's a pill that treats psoriasis differently. With Otezla, 75% clear skin is achievable after just 4 months, with reduced redness, thickness, and scaliness of plaques. And the Otezla prescribing information has no requirement for routine lab monitoring. Don't use if you're allergic to Otezla. Otezla may cause severe diarrhea, nausea, or vomiting. Tell your doctor if these occur. Otezla is associated with an increased risk of depression. Tell your doctor if you have a history of depression or suicidal thoughts, or if these feelings develop. Some people taking Otezla reported weight loss. Your doctor should monitor your weight and may stop treatment. Other side effects include upper respiratory tract infection and headache. Tell your doctor about all the medicines you take and if you're pregnant or planning to be. Otezla, show more of you.
Over the years, we've pioneered radical change in vacuum technology. Now with this powerful digital motor, a new era begins. Dyson has reinvented the cord-free vacuum. Definitely not a little vac. This is now your big machine to deep clean right through the home. So powerful, in fact, we've stopped developing corded vacuums.
Can I get a snack for after Taekwondo?
Debate club?
You're in debate club?
Yes. Pizza club? That's not a thing.
Gymnastics championship.
Frito-Lay multi-packs. Practical smiles.
At Firehouse Subs, subs are hot, hearty, and extraordinary. Every sub helps provide life-saving equipment for first responders. Nice jaws of life, Lisa. So more people eating at Firehouse Subs means more life-saving equipment donated to first responders. If you're gonna have a sub, have one that makes a difference. How's that taste, Jim? Introducing the new pastrami Reuben with our sweet and tangy slaw. Just $6.39 for a medium. Firehouse Subs. Enjoy more subs, save more lives.
I could do Grandpa. Yeah, sure.
You know what? It's all about it. The moment you realize a good backyard party requires a good backyard.
At Lowe's, we have everything you need to create the outdoor space you've always wanted.
Shop Lowe's and save with Pine Annuals now 5 for $5.
All right, a spring snowstorm is keeping winter weather around a little bit longer in the north. And guess what? We'll have more winter weather coming even after this. But Winter Storm Wilbur bringing more than half a foot of snow to parts of the northern tier, including Green Bay, Wisconsin. That is where we find the Weather Channel's Janelle Klein this morning. Janelle, good morning. People in Green Bay, they're kind of used to the snow. They're used to a cold winter. But when does it get to that point where it's like, enough? Enough.
I think we're there, Jim. I mean, as you said, famous for rough weather here in Green Bay, but it is April 3rd. I think people have definitely reached that point. In fact, we're talking to people around town who are saying they were getting out gardening supplies, local hardware stores saying they had put all the winter stuff away, and now they're taking it back out. County road crews saying the same thing. They've been out spreading brine on the roads and streets, and some of them had to convert their trucks back into plows. Certainly unexpected, but we are thinking there will be 5 to 8 inches today, 35-mile-an-hour wind gusts, so travel conditions will be difficult. We've got about 20 reported schools in the area closing today, so you can tell the conditions here are expected to be pretty treacherous. This is all part of Winter Storm Wilbur, so we're seeing this across Wisconsin, in Minnesota right now, but not the only place getting tough weather. Peoria, Illinois has another system moving through the McCrudgeon Bridge, pretty treacherous there, and so this is not the only problem. They're just going to see rain, though. Here we will see snow, although conditions could be slick roads, could include slick roads, so travel could be tough as well. It's election day here in Wisconsin, and that's one concern authorities have as people get out to vote. This could be difficult for them to be out. They are concerned about safety, and some of the polling places even had to move stuff because they didn't have backup generators. Certainly not something they expected to have to worry about in early April.
All right, thanks for that, Janelle. We appreciate it. We want to check back now at our travel forecast at 40 past the hour. Winter Storm Wilbur making it a snowy, messy Tuesday for places like the Twin Cities, I-35 in Minneapolis. And then we also have St. Paul here. This is via EarthCam. Snowfall rates of 1 inch an hour are possible from mid-morning to mid-afternoon. And as Janelle just mentioned, we could have those gusty winds as well. So let's have a look at our Minneapolis commuter forecast and when we're going to see what. When are we going to see, Kelly, the good stuff and the bad stuff?
Yeah, it's going to be all day long, Steph, all night, too. We do have winter storm warnings in effect through 1 o'clock in the morning local time. So for your morning rush, it's snowing out there now. So that will be the issue here. We could see some de-icing and snow removal delays at MSP, so definitely check ahead. Lunchtime is still coming down as you're grabbing that sandwich, a bite to eat. We've got the snow. The wind, by the way, the wind is going to be picking up from the north, 10 to 20 miles per hour, causing some blowing and drifting of this snow as well. So the plows may go by, do their job, and then that snow goes right back on the roadways. And by the way, it gets cold tonight, Jim. Lows here in the single digits overnight.
Yeah, incredible. Road salt and melting snow getting the blame for 2 underground explosions in New York City. Security cameras were rolling when one blast, check this out, sent a 100-pound manhole cover flying. It nearly hit 2 people walking past, as you saw there. Moments later, a second explosion shot another manhole cover into the air as well.
When you thought everything was okay, it just suddenly exploded. Like the fire was really big, you know.
I mean, explosion's one thing, but I mean, oh my goodness, that could have been really bad. The manhole explosions are simply a chemical reaction, the kind of stuff you learn about in high school chemistry lab. We're talking about, in case you've forgotten what this chemistry is all about, Stephanie Abrams has a little refresher.
We're all familiar with the plow trucks that come by and they push away all the snow as it's falling. But what you might not see is the de-icing elements that they spray after to help with the melting. Now, they use different de-icers depending on the air temperature. Above 20 degrees, simple rock salt works. It's perfectly fine. It's the same thing as your table salt. Now, when the temperature drops below 20 to about 0 degrees, that's when we use magnesium chloride, which is also a form of salt. But actually, it's actually primarily produced in the Great Salt Lake. That's an interesting fact for you. Then when you get even colder than that, we go to calcium chloride, yet another form of salt that works down to negative 25 degrees. So what is the difference when we go from rock salt to calcium chloride? Well, what it does is it actually lowers the freezing point, making it harder for ice to form. Whoa, what just happened there? Looks like a manhole cover exploded. Now, you've probably seen video of this happening before. So what exactly is going on? So we have all the salt now that has been then spread on the street. That, of course, seeps down into the sewer system. What is underneath that manhole cover? Well, we actually have all sorts of cables and gases. So first off, you have the salt that's eroding away at the insulation. Then you have all this gas down in our sewers. You have methane, you have hydrogen, think Hindenburg, and hydrogen sulfide. So once you have that salt that's eroded away at the insulation, you have live wires. Of course, that's heat. You get a spark mixing with the gas, and boom, you have an explosive environment. But let me stand back here, because those manhole covers, they can blast 50 feet into the air, and they can weigh anywhere from 100 to 300 pounds. So if you see one smoking, you obviously want to stay away. New York City estimates that they have more than 2,000 of these manhole incidents a year.
All right, Con Ed warns that runoff could lead to more electrical fires underground. Kelly, take us into the weekend without the electrical fire.
Yeah, let's not have those. When I was a kid, would visit our grandparents in Manhattan, I wouldn't even step on the subway grates at all. I was always afraid of those. All right, taking a look at our map today, it's all about the red. That's our chance for severe. But yes, we've got a snowstorm, Wilbur, moving across the upper Midwest into the Great Lakes region. We should see anywhere from 5 to 8 inches across some of these areas like Traverse City. Rain moves into the Northeast. This is what's left of Wilbur. We got the thunderstorms, very strong winds blowing in off of Lake Ontario. There could be some lakeshore flooding with that as well. Drier skies for Thursday. Temperatures actually going a little bit below average, even in parts of the south. Thunderstorms a possibility for you spring breakers in Miami. Of course, we're headed towards the end of the week. We're at the Masters tournament in Augusta. Looks like Thursday, Friday looks good, but then we see on Saturday that chance for rain across eastern Georgia, including the Atlanta metro. A little snow perhaps on the northern edges of that. We'll see. And then Sunday brings yet another snowstorm for the middle of the country. Steph.
Well, coming up, there's enough cape for big storms to bear down, but is there a cap that's going to prevent it? The question, is there enough oomph in the atmosphere to break the lid open and lead to a bigger severe threat? And what type of severe weather? Also, many have said so long to winter, while others are asking why so long? All these answers next.
More and more people have discovered something strong, dependable, long-lasting. They've found themselves in a Chevy truck. And now you can too. See for yourself why Chevrolet is the most awarded and fastest growing brand the last 4 years overall. Switch into a new Chevy now. Current competitive owners can get $3,000 total cash allowance on most Colorado pickups. Find new roads at your local Chevy dealer.
Finally got me, Ben.
What's that, Rick?
The Clark Street crater, the mother of all potholes. For decades, it's tormented the people of this town. They try to fill it, but it always returns. Got me good.
But you know, State Farm's got you, too.
Yeah? You hear that? You ain't nothing!
Are you trash talking a pothole?
Yeah. Yeah, I am.
Go with the one that's here to help life go right. State Farm.
There's a freedom about Asheville. An unspoken invitation to discover who you really are. Here, the world is a big, beautiful place filled with adventure. Take it in. Come up for air. Asheville, discovery inside and out.
I'm Jimmy Dean, and I wish I could tell you how I feel about a morning like this. And that includes a good hearty breakfast. You need something to kind of warm the whole body up and get it going. It's a great way to kick off your day.
Hands go here. Feet go here. You know what goes here. And your approval rating goes here. Test drive the Z-Track Z540R at your John Deere dealer today.
Okay, be good, kiddo. I gotta go to work. I love you. Bye.
Dog home alone all day? Who knows what they'll get into? A day without a walk is a sad day for your dog. But now you can make your dog's day with WAG, the on-demand dog walking app. Get a WAG-certified walker to walk your dog at a moment's notice. WAG walks are insured and bonded. And WAG walkers are vetted, experienced dog handlers who'll give your dog the affection and attention they deserve. WAG has live GPS tracking and will even tell you where your dog marks its territory. My dog poop. WAG, the #1 on-demand dog walking app. Get your first walk free when you download the app now.
It is a very brutal place to work. Anything can happen.
All new Highway Through Hell, Sunday nights at 8 on the Weather Channel.
Currently in our area, 36 degrees under cloudy skies. Today, cloudy with gusty winds. High 45. Winds could occasionally gust over 40 miles per hour. Tonight, mainly clear. Low 21. Winds north-northwest at 20 to 30 miles per hour. Wednesday, partly cloudy skies. High 52. Northwest winds shifting to south-southeast at 10 to 15 miles per hour. Here's our 7-day outlook.
All right, let's go ahead and take you 40 miles east of Amarillo. This is Goodnight, Texas. This is a brush fire burning near the highway yesterday. Smoke blurring sight lines, obviously, for drivers. Good news, the area is on track for some showers today. The bad news is the winds are going to be still pretty strong. So hopefully, I don't know if that thing's been under control at this point, but hopefully it has. Usually they put those out pretty quick. Here's the action this morning. Indianapolis, again, we've been harping on a flood threat along Interstate 70, and you can see why. That lightning is doing what? If you watch it, it's increasing, right? So that means we're getting higher rainfall rates. And here's our first flash flood warning that we have out and through here. So we're talking about Honey Creek, Pearson, and Riley. Those are the cities that are impacted. And you'll notice the trajectory of this heavier rain is off to the northeast. So Indianapolis, you are in this. As a matter of fact, 1.59 inches is what we have so far. We are on track to break a daily rainfall record in Indianapolis today. It's nearly 2 inches for the record. We're going to easily get that. And that record, by the way, goes back to the 1800s, the late 1800s. So G-Dime Weather, nice job pulling that stat for me. I appreciate that. All right, so water vapor image, strong shortwave trough. Working its way from the west, heading off to the north and east. Here's our convective burst this morning. Unfortunately, sometimes what these do is they lay down a little cool, rain-cool boundary, and that becomes the focal point all day for the rainfall. And I'll show you what that means in a moment and how we can see that. Highest instability is to the south, some instability, and certainly enough up to the north. The better wind shear is up to the north in terms of the speed. But you know what? Everybody actually has a pretty good low-level jet through here. We're talking about 60 to 65 knots cutting up through this entire area. So that really is the reason why we have an enhanced severe risk right in through here today, okay? From Columbus all the way down into southern Arkansas, it is because of that low-level jet. Here's the problem, though. We've got, the warm front this morning kind of cutting across this area. Cold front's off toward the west. But that rain, even though the warm front is going to move north during the day, notice how this rain-cool boundary keeps Indianapolis in the rain. All right, so they have a chance to flood pretty well today. By 3 o'clock, we do start to see some thunderstorms break out back along the Ohio and Mississippi rivers, and there's even a few more of those by 5 o'clock. Those certainly, especially the farther south and west you go, may contain some hail, maybe an isolated tornado as well. And then the whole thing just kind of lines out here. But remember, that low-level jet is still very, very strong. 65 knots or better here, Steph, and so we could be talking about a lot of damaging wind, unfortunately.
Okay, so we have that jet that's going to help us out in the Midwest with the severe weather. There's also kind of like the southern branch of the jet that's going to cross over Arkansas and Tennessee. That's going to help them out. But notice as we get deep into Texas, we have deeper shadings of red on our map here. And that means we have our highest cape into Texas. That is our oomph in the atmosphere. That's the forcing. We have that warm, moist air. That's buoyant. And also this front that's coming through. Now, here's the thing. You can have the cape, but if you have a cap, a lid on the atmosphere, that could stop the storms from developing. So what exactly is a cap? When you hear about capping, well, essentially, cold air wants to sink, warm air wants to rise. When you have a nice warm layer here above the surface, it's happy. The atmosphere stable, doesn't really care. But if you get some of that daytime heating to come in and heat up that ground, now it's warmer below where you have this warm air. So this is warm air, but now this is hot air. So that hot air is going to rise on up and it could break the cap. Okay, so not only do we have the sunshine that could help us, but we also have that front that's going to be coming through, and that's also a forcing mechanism as well. So that could really force the atmosphere to go. And we think that we're going to see those storms certainly develop here along that front as we head into the afternoon and evening hours. Kelly.
Well, if you're looking for spring in Omaha, Nebraska, good luck with that. It's cold out there, 32 degrees. We've got light freezing fog and drizzle being reported in Omaha right now. Winds are calm, but they will be picking up later today. I've been checking on reports from Scottsbluff, Nebraska to Valentine. Winds right now are gusting close to 30 miles per hour, and that wind is on its way to the eastern part of Nebraska as well. So let's take a look at the temperatures. Of course, that northerly flow coming down from Canada, bringing in the colder air. You've got 11 degrees right now in Bismarck. 28 degrees in Minneapolis, currently just above freezing in Des Moines. And remember, that wind is going to make it feel even worse, where we've got that north wind coming down the plains. Nothing to stop it. Of course, we've got flat terrain for the most part here. And we're going to be running anywhere from 5 to 15 degrees below average for this time of the year. Places like Bismarck with a high today of only 25. Sioux Falls, South Dakota, not getting above freezing at all. Omaha, Nebraska, mid-30s for you. And then tonight, it gets worse. Lots of single digits on the map for overnight, Steph.
Okay, so do you have a kid that plays that game where, like, you can't, touch the hardwood, it's just the carpet because hardwood is lava? Well, we want to show you the real deal this morning, and this is from a helicopter tour. A company captured these images near a volcano in Hawaii last week. It looks like a line of tornadoes, right? Or maybe water spouts that are rising up out of the water. Well, it's a pretty rare sight. As the hot lava hits the water, it actually forms steam, and sometimes that steam can spin up and make what looks like a tornado. I've actually never, ever seen this happen, ever. But very interesting and very beautiful, Jim.
Yeah, so a friend of ours, Howard Sappington, went out there and he actually got a chance to see that. Guys, AMHQ rolls on in a moment.
All right, I brought in high protein to help get us moving and help you feel more strength and energy in just 2 weeks. I'll take that.
Ensure high protein with 16 grams of protein and 4 grams of sugar. Ensure always be you.
Like a supermarket, the dark web is where identity thieves buy and sell your personal information. But now you can protect yourself with Experian. Get a completely free dark web scan to see if your identity has already been compromised. Go to Experian.com/free scan.
How do you win at business? Stay at La Quinta, where we're changing with contemporary makeovers. Then use the ultimate power handshake, the upper hander with a double palm grab. Who has the upper hand now? Start winning today. Book now at lq.com.
The wonderful thing about Polident is the fact that it's very, very tough on bacteria, yet it's very gentle on the denture itself.
Polident consists of 4 powerful ingredients that work together to deep clean your denture in hard-to-reach places.
This is the ocean. Oh, let's swim together in the water, clear and clean. It makes us feel better. Just listen. Doesn't care where we've been. There's so much we want to show her. We needed a car that would last long enough to see it all.
Subaru Outback. 98% are still on the road after 10 years.
Get the feeling of Chick-fil-A for breakfast.
Will you stay for practice, Mom?
Yeah. Now go kick some points.
Can't choose your parents.
For America's #1 walk-behind mower brand, look no further than your neighborhood Toro dealer. you'll find the best selection of Toro walk-behinds, zero turns, parts and accessories, and the #1 source for Toro innovations like the MyRide suspension platform, all backed by the personal service of your trusted local Toro dealer. Don't settle for anything less.
Toro, count on it. Count on us.
Find your local Toro dealer at toro.com/local.
Severe storms rumbling across the Ohio Valley down to Texas. Wind and hail, the biggest threats. Jim.
And as you saw from the shots at Yankee Stadium yesterday, winter is winning the battle of the seasons. Today's target, the Midwest. Janelle Klein.
Yeah, we're live in Green Bay, Jim, where we could see 5 to 8 inches here and throughout much of Wisconsin. We'll have the latest live. Kelly?
So a disaster strikes and you want to help. What you need to know before jumping into action, that's coming up right now on AMHQ.
Good morning to you. It is Tuesday. I'm meteorologist Stephanie Abrams alongside meteorologist Jim Cantori and Kelly Cass. It may be April on the calendar, but it feels like February in a lot of places as Winter Storm Wilbur spreads across the Midwest. Yesterday, though, it was the Northeast, and a lot of people are saying enough is enough.
This is the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen, and I still have to drive all the way to New Jersey, so what a great morning.
I am ready for spring. I'm not a winter person, and like to see some sunshine.
I actually like the winter, so I think it's awesome. It's a winter wonderland, but it is crazy for the roads, and for it to be April.
Yeah. Tobyhanna, Pennsylvania, the big winner yesterday with at least 9 inches of snow. And by the way, we could rival that snow total, Jim, in the Midwest today.
Yes, we could. We got a lot of areas that could see over 8 inches of snow today, and the battleground's not that far apart between the severe and the snow. People in St. Paul, Minnesota, Brookings, South Dakota, waking up to snow in their yards this morning. But Indianapolis, Pittsburgh, we're talking about flash flooding, maybe even some damaging winds. Huge problems in through there. All right, let's start with the severe side of this. Here's Steph.
So what we're going to see develop is our low pressure cold front, warm front really going to be developing as we head through the day. So conditions are going to get worse before they get better. Here's where we have the biggest chance for those storms to develop. And what we're going to do is explain to you exactly why and break it down for you. Okay? So here we have a warm front. Anything south of that is a warm sector. And you have the winds coming from the south, going north, riding up and over this warm front. Now, the warm front, you see storms basically just kind of ride along this area, and that's what we're seeing in Indianapolis this morning. There's a little bit of a extra oomph in the atmosphere up in this area here. We do have a flash flood warning, and there could be flooding with everything just kind of riding over the same areas. But boy, is it a loud morning in Indianapolis this morning. Maybe an early start for some of you who have been woken up by all this thunder and lightning. Right now, we have 2 flash flood warnings here for Johnson and Morgan counties. That's where we are going to see either flash flooding that is imminent or it's occurring. And remember, I said all of that rain just kind of rides right over the same area.